Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel SummarizedAI. As part of this video, we are going to talk about MRO, which stands for Method Resolution Order, and try to understand how Python determines the sequence in which classes are searched when calling a method or accessing an attitude in an inheritance hierarchy. In simple terms, MRO comes into picture only when we have an inheritance, especially multiple inheritance. When a class inherits from more than one parent, it ensures Python knows which parent class method to call first when the same method exists in multiple parents. Python uses C3 Linearization algorithm to determine MRO. And this algorithm ensures first is the order of base classes in the class definition is respective. Second is derived classes preserve the MRO of their base classes. Third is consistency for not to conflict order between parent classes. Let's try to understand this with an example. Okay, so here I have a class A, class B, class C, and class D. Okay, you would be seeing class C is inheriting class A and class B is inheriting class A. Okay, so here, for example, I have a method which says show, okay, or print message. Now that print message method is here. Now we have inherited this class. I have redefined or override that method here also in the C class. Okay, same I did in the B class. I overrode that particular method. Now after overriding the method, okay, now we have that method show in all three classes. Now if I will do multiple inheritance here in the D class. Okay, then we are inheriting B and C class in D. Okay, now when we call that particular show method, okay, D dot show, our code will get confused. Either we have to call the method of class C or we have to call the method from class B. Okay, and this is nothing but a diamond problem. This we call as a diamond problem where the class is not able to understand to which method should get called. It doesn't decide able to decide the priority. Okay. Now to overcome this problem, we have something called as MRO, method resolution order in Python. But we don't have this particular thing in Java. Okay. So in Java, the diamond problem is there, but in Python we don't have this problem. And let's see how we resolve this particular problem using MRO in Python. Okay, so let's go back to our Visual Studio. Let me create a class. Okay, let me create a class practice.py. Okay, and here I'm saying class A. Okay, in this class A, let me create a function show. Okay, and provide a parameter of self and then print inside class A. Okay, now my class is there. Now similar thing I'm going to do here in class B. Okay, so this is my class B inheriting class A and I have overridden this method. Okay, now for example, if at current point of time I'm gonna do B equals to B, okay, and then if I say B dot show, okay, and let me update this to B. Now you would see the output because we are already having a function inside a B class. That's where this function will take the priority. Okay. But if we don't have this function available in this class, okay, in this case, it will call the function from the parent class. Okay. Clear. So this is nothing but inheritance. So B is inheriting everything whatever we have in A. Okay. Now let's revert this code and now create a similar class C. Okay. Now my class C is also inheriting a class A. Okay. So if you see this particular diagram, we had a class A. Now C is inheriting A, B is inheriting A. Okay. So here we created the same code. Okay. Now, if you see in the last, here the class D is inheriting both the classes. So we say class D, okay, then class D is inheriting both B, comma C. Now, if I go down and give me a minute, sorry, should make it small C. Now, if I pass this one here, okay, or don't pass, first let me override this function here, okay. Now, if I say class D, okay, and here I'm gonna create the D object. Okay, so that's what we discussed. If we create a D object, if it has a local function, that function will get called first. Okay, if we don't have function here, which class function will get called? That's an issue. Okay, we will see. So D and we can say D dot show. Now, if I clear my console and execute this code, you can see we are inside class D. This got called. Okay, we are happy. Okay, because the function is there. Now, as soon as I say pass here, okay, as soon as I pass here, now let's see what happens, okay. It called function from class B, inside class B. Now, why it happened? Why it happened? Okay, it called B. Now you see the B position is on the left side here, okay, when we are inheriting this B class. Now, let me just make a change. Let me just make a change and get this B here, okay. Now you see, C took the precedence, which means whichever class there in the left side. By default, Python looks for the method from left to right order in the inheritance class list using C3 Linearization algorithm. So here, class D will give the precedence to C. If the function is not there, it will give precedence to B. And if like this, we have a multiple class like G, comma H, then it will go from left to right. And wherever this method will get found out, that class will take the priority and that particular method will get called. Okay. But if suppose I want to see what is the order, then what I can do here is I can simply say print d dot MRO function. Okay. Now let's see what happens. If I call this particular function for D class, okay, then the precedence is D itself. If the D don't have that particular attribute of function, then it will be going to the C. Okay. And then if it is not there in the C, then it is going to the B. Okay. And as we know, C and B both inheriting A. So then at the last it will go A. And at the end of the day, it every class inherits a class from object. The similar thing we have in Java also, and it is there in Python. Okay. So at the end of the day, if this function didn't get find anywhere, it will look into the object. Okay. And this is the order. This is the order, and this function is returning the list of classes. Now, in place of the function, if I try to call the attribute, okay, and let's see what happens. It is returning as the tuple. Okay. So d dot underscore underscore mro underscore underscore returns a tuple attributes. Okay. And the function returns the list. Okay, great. Now you will be surprised if I would say we can change this order. Okay, we can customize the MRO. Okay, so right now you are seeing D is taking a higher precedence than C, then B, then A, and then object. I can change this order. Okay, so let's see that how we can change that order. So I can write reverse MRO order. Okay, and then I'm passing a type here, call a function MRO, and then CLS. Okay, and then if I say MRO underscore list equals to super dot MRO function. Okay, so we will get all the MROs here. Okay, now we are getting all the MROs, and then while returning MRO, so this is nothing but a list getting returned from some function. Okay, now here we are saying keep the D as is. Now for keeping D as is, what we can do, we can say MRO MRO underscore list. Okay, and then you can say here 0. Let the 0 be 0. Okay, and then after that you can say list and reversed. Okay, reversed MRO will be MRO underscore list, and then you can say one this. So what we're doing here is we got all the MROs. Okay, now you would be thinking like from where we got the MROs. So here what we're gonna do, we're gonna write meta class. Okay, meta class equals to reverse MRO order. Okay, I'm calling this particular attribute there. As soon as I will call this attribute on the class D, I'm calling out on the class D. So it will get all these super.mro, which means it will call all the class MROs. Okay, D, C, B, A object. Okay, now we know on the first place we had D. So we are saying let the first item in this list as is. Okay, and from second reverse the order. Okay, so now it will be D object and then A and then B and then C. It should be something like this. So here we have reversed the order after first element, first item. Okay, now if I run this program again, okay, if I run this program again, you would be seeing the order got reversed. So the first item is as is, then we have object, then we have A, B, C, and if you see the output here also inside class A. Earlier it was C, it was taking a precedence, but we made a custom changes and the first item is D and then here the first item is A, which is taking the priority. Okay. Now, if you have ever worked with Java or other object-oriented programming languages, you might have come across the diamond problem. Okay. What we discussed earlier. This happens when a class inherits from multiple parents, like D is inheriting B and C. Okay. Now, classes that share a common ancestor and it's unclear which parent method should be called first. Okay. So now here, if we don't have MRO, then in this case, this class D will get confused which function I should be calling. Okay. Now because MRO is there, sorry. Now that MRO decides the precedence from left to right and left has the highest precedence. So that's where it will call the method from B class if it is present. Okay. And this is because of C3 linearization algorithm as we discussed. Yep. And this is all we have on MRO. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this video helpful and want to see more video on AI and Python, don't forget to like and click on notification bell icon to stay updated and subscribe to the channel. See you in the